was from the digital category on IDEO. The company that approached IDEO was Ford Motor Company. Specifically, I researched IDEO's case study, Beyond Cars, Designing Smarter Mobility, helping Ford evolve from an automaker to a mobility provider. What is the company? Ford Motor Company is an American multinational automaker. It is the second largest US-based automaker and the fifth largest in the world. Historically, it is known for revolutionizing and redefining the mobility industry when it began mass producing the Model T in 1908. Ford has innovated in the areas of different types of vehicles, sport vehicles, and vehicles that work to achieve environmental initiatives. Ford approached IDEO to help understand how the mobility industry can go beyond cars. I researched a data collection experiment of bicycles that was undertaken to gain insights for new products and services in the mobility industry. What problem was the company trying to solve? As millions around the world move into gridlock polluted cities, the allure of owning a shiny new car has dulled. In some places, young people are driving less and getting their licenses later or not at all. Lightening their loads, city dwellers are relying on ride-sharing services and other alternatives to individual ownership. The Ford Motor Company approached IDEO with this problem to explore a car company's place in the changing world of mobility. The experiment helps Ford evolve from an automaker to a mobility provider. What was the outcome of the process? Assess real-world implications. With this experiment, they set out to understand bike behavior interacting in an urban environment to bridge the gap between cars and bikes and how they share the road. The outcome was a digital tracker that captures how cyclists, cars, and public transport interact in the city. There are many real-world implications. To name a few, the data could provide insight into how alternate modes of transportation might be best positioned to serve future urban mobility needs. The data provides information about how bikes are used today to meet existing urban transportation needs. This data can help to analyze road quality, characterize microclimates, or identify traffic patterns throughout the day. City planners could use this information to create bike lanes and other things. Bike riders could get insights on best routes or real-time information on areas to avoid. The tracker benefits bicyclists in that they can learn about their cycling over time. It benefits other stakeholders, such as cities and urban planners, in real time. Ford could also use the InfoCycle data along with existing data known as OpenXC gathered from its cars to track the changing way people are moving around cities. Bicycles are one of the premier components in any city, and it's a growing trend, says a researcher. The idea is to address that trend and collect the data. Ford noted, "We're not in the business of selling a bike accessory. Our positioning is going to be mostly to help us solve some of these urban challenges we have around bicycling." Evidence of design thinking, empathize, and inspire. Ford's InfoCycle experiment is human-centered in the first step of the design process, in that they are observing what people are doing and asking why. They are asking, how can Ford, as a mobility provider, better meet the needs of this people? With this experiment, they're exploring the market space, the needs of the market, the changing needs of the market, and the changing needs of the industry. Evidence of design thinking, ideation, and prototype. The design of the prototype began with a human-centered question. How does a bicyclist experience the city? It was important for researchers to gather data through sensors, such as wheel speed, acceleration, and altitude, among other information. Something else that was important to the designers was to figure out how to incorporate the sensor into the bike more seamlessly. A researcher says one of the first things the engineers learned in the first phase is that people don't want to add weight to their bikes simply to collect data for the common good. So engineers looked for ways to build the sensor into a component that was already on the bike. They looked at areas such as the lights, the bell, or the handlebars. Evidence of design thinking, implementation. Once they decided on a prototype, they produced a limited amount of about 1,000 devices and handed them out to a select group of cyclists in well-defined geographic areas. Results showed that cities as well as consumers can use data from bike sensors. Bike sensor data provides information about traffic, pedestrians, and road conditions that is difficult to obtain from vehicle sensors. Quote, the designers emphasize the open source nature of the platform where the data goes. That means it will be easily adaptable to local concerns and local conditions. There is the ability for the community to choose what problems they want to solve, a researcher says. I think there's going to be a lot of learning new things that we have never thought about. What was your overall impression of the product service? What would you have done differently? I think it's great for a car company to be thinking beyond the car. It's great for Ford to be including the bicycle in its innovation. I think it can work to empower cyclists by creating a different landscape for them. I think it has the potential to make cities safer and to create a good relationship between cyclists and drivers and create community. Something I definitely would have done differently is I would have taken the appearance of the computer into consideration more. To me, it seems bulky and rather ugly. I think it would easily be damaged or stolen. It would be great if this device were sleek or even hidden. But other than that, I think it's a great idea. Thank you.